tennis coaches. We have so many tennis players that call in and leave amazing comments as to, hey man, it's exactly like tennis. Yeah. It's exactly like hockey. Why didn't I think of that before, right? Hey everyone, Shawn and Savvy here, and boy, are we excited to bring you this video today because so many of you have been looking at Savannah's grip. Those are new to the channel and say, wow, that's a really strong grip you have. And we continuously, explain to them and, write down the comments and refer them to some of the videos that I've done on, weak grip versus strong grip. But today we're gonna nail that nail, hammer that nail right on the head, and we're gonna really show you what's up with that, okay? And so it all starts with, gotta go to target, right? Because a square club face at address is very different than a square club face in movement or during the swing, right? Mm-hmm. A dynamically square face versus a statically square face. Yeah. So, typically when we do a golf grip, mm-hmm. Here's a household hammer, Sav, and what I want you to do is get ready to hammer straight down, right? So notice as she's hammering straight down, let me give you a little bit of anatomy right now. The two bones of your forearm, the radius is on top, ulna is underneath, they're stacked on top of each other, and right now that stack is very compressive. So you get some really good compression through that hammer into the nail. Now put both hands on. So notice how your both hands are facing each other. Mm-hmm. This is how many of you think about the grip. This is that wonderful neutral grip. Mm-hmm. But what you don't realize is this sucker is open off the face of the planet, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you were gonna hammer that way now, what did you just do? Because now you need to direct it this way. Yeah. So now you've got your nail over here and you have the radius and ulna, both of them stacked in the direction of the target. Yeah. So this is very compressive. Yeah. Okay, so stay right there. Now, take your normal grip again. Let's see if you're hammering down. Now, if I were to take the hammer and turn it this way, which none of you would do, by the way. And so, how powerful does that feel now?
Nothing. I can't even get it on the...
Okay, number one. Number two. So, we have an axe. And you want to, let's say you had a nice tree here, mm-hmm. and you want it to split the tree. See how instinctive that is? Mm-hmm. So notice there's that so-called neutral grip. It's actually a very strong grip in relation to this motion. Yeah. Now let's say you were chopping down that tree. See, there is the strong grip that you would use if you wanted to be dynamically square with something. Yeah. Now, for all of you tennis players out there, you see, we'll go through this. We could do this all day long, right? So if you wanted to slash something, whack something downwards with your tennis racket, show me a downward whack. There you go, right? Mm-hmm. Now you wanted to whack the tennis ball that way. Look at this position here of her hands. Now, let me go to a Mr. Clay Ballard of Top Speed Tennis, right? Here's what I wanted to show you. Look at that. So you see how he puts that knuckle on top? Notice the square tennis racket, and notice where that hand position is right there. That is exactly like the hammer we just talked about. That's that top spin, that natural top spin position with that tennis racket. Mm-hmm. Let's just do one more for good measure, Sav. Here's a baseball bat.
Baseball.
So you wanted to hammer a ball out there. So let's say here comes the baseball. Look at the impact. There's that nice position of the forearms that we talked about. This is a very compressive delivery in that direction. Yeah. So if we look at all of the disciplines that we just did there, if you rewind, every single last one of them, apart from a push broom, is designed handle first in mind. So hold your sword upside down. Let's say we have a machete here, and you had a bamboo shoot and you wanted to slash through that bamboo shoot. So show me in slow motion. Look at that. So elbow leads hand, hand leads beginning of blade, and then the end of the blade releases out here.
Yeah.
So that is the natural dynamic kinetic chain or kinematic sequence
Yeah.
of a human being.
Yeah.
So hold your club out right here in front of you. If we were to do the same thing as the hammering, let's say you were hammering toward the ground. You would do that way, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
There's your neutral grip.
Yeah.
Now we want to hammer that way. Now, doesn't that feel like you can hammer in that direction?
Yeah.
So if I take my club, and I usually do this, I use the baseball acid test. Mm-hmm. So show me your nice strong grip. Go ahead and address the ball like you normally would. And you can see how her left hand is in that, backhand topspin position, and or the axe position or the hammering position in both hands. That's why the left hand is under the right hand.
Yeah.
So hold your club out here, and if you had a neutral grip right now, the club face would be significantly closed.
Yeah.
So take a backswing like a baseball player. Show me a baseball player backswing. Now come on down in slow motion, pretending you're hitting a ball right here. There we go. So notice that's not closed anymore.
No.
Notice her hands are naturally in front. She's collecting the ball from here and releasing the ball out there. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and hit a couple shots. You got your target. You're hitting a draw, so you're playing the ball a hair back of center and releasing to the left of the intermediate point. And that was through the ball.
Yeah.
Wow, that was like nutted. So that's 7-iron blade. And you are now 163 carry, right in the center of that club face. Mm-hmm. Beautiful inside path. And notice that gorgeous draw, you guys. I mean, she drew the ball about 3-4 yards there. Mm-hmm. And that's where you get that compression and that power from. Without that grip, it would not be possible. You would have to square it up. Yeah. So a while back when we first started out, because I mean, in high school you had a little, 3-year stint where golf was your fall, sport, and soccer was your, and then when you got more serious for university, we kind of left golf by the wayside. Yeah. So at that time, because she hadn't been to the range a lot, she'd come to the driving range with dad maybe 3-4 times a year, and we'd go out and play as a family, and it was more for fun. We weren't looking for performance. It was just to spend some time together. And we realized, hey, we need to keep the ball in play. And at that time, that strong grip was the only way you can keep that ball in play. Yeah. And we went with it. And you noticed last time we went out with Riley, her brother, my son, who's a BMX racer, by the way, and doesn't play golf. He's super passionate about what he does. He's number 2 in this state, and he's number 6 in Canada. So the man is a machine, and he's on a mission. And I don't want to be in the way of that. All I'm going to do is support that guy. So, but we went out one afternoon, and he wanted to hit some balls, and everything was like 45 degrees left. Yeah. Well struck, not a shank, well struck. Yeah. I said, son, if you don't want your dad to have any legal problems, we're going to have to close that face, right? So we went with a really strong grip like you, and we turned the face in 45 degrees. He starts hitting 6-irons, 195 on the fly with a 1-yard draw. His mouth's on the ground, my mouth's on the ground, and I'm going, yeah, that pretty much confirms the whole shebang. Yeah. So the key is you start with a very closed face and see if you can hook it. So we started with a very strong grip. We got you back in play, and by the way, in high school, she was playing with 2 other gals on your team, had full ride scholarships to the U.S., and they were 30 to 40 yards behind you, right? She was number 3 on that. She was like the part-time player. And you know, they found that very peculiar at the time because they were the ones that resist with the lower body and tried to coil that little itsy bitsy waist against those legs. And I'm going, this is, you know, crazy stuff. And now we can see that today that's completely changed on its ear, right? So what you're doing is what everyone is aspiring to do now, especially when you see that kind of result. Like you're at least 2 clubs ahead of everybody else on the LPGA right now. And that is a significant potential. So you start off with nice closed face, right? You close the face. You got 2 choices. So there's your neutral grip with a closed face. You can either square it up and end up with a very strong grip like that and a square face, or you can just leave it closed or have a little bit of both. And that's how it works. What matters is when you swing in the direction of your target, that the ball goes in the direction that you want it to go. And because it cannot ever be your target. Your target's out there. So you're swinging through into that picture. So if I were to say to you, Sav, you're playing tennis now. Your opponent is on the left side of the court, and you need to go down the line, right side of the court.
Okay.
What's your focus?
Where I'm going.
Exactly. So I already showed you where we need to put the tennis ball. So everything you do on the court relates to where we're putting that tennis ball. Now, if you didn't know where you're putting the tennis ball, how could you possibly organize yourself? You can't set up, right? It's like, I don't know where I'm putting it. Sorry, right? Whereas, so when I say to you, okay, we're going to play a draw, and we're going to start at a little left edge of that intermediate point. So where you feel like you're going to put the ball a hair back of center, right? That gives you access to the direction you want to start the ball. And you have a very specific feel in your mind right now of how you're going to deliver that shot, right? Fantastic. And that started right on the left edge of that window, drawn back to the left side of the green, another 163-yard carry, 170 total. You're going to be a terror this year. It's going to be freaking awesome. And we're slowly working on that angle of attack, and that we're going to do that with high and low shots. And right now she's basically +1 to -1 in her angle of attack with the irons. We've got the woods and the hybrids nailed down, and we're just working fine-tuning stuff right now. We really don't want to touch that swing because I mean it's a very powerful action. So stay tuned. Now, if you guys don't know about our premium channel yet, it's only $5 a month. And we have over 40 hours of dual angle cameras. Right now is another camera taking it from down the line, which you don't see. And that's what we do on our premium channel. And we're going to do, and this is going to be really important because a little bonus addition to this is, where does the club pass in the hands? And how do you clamp that hand down around that grip so that you get maximum compression? Because swing speed is one thing, but ball speed coming off the club face is another. And if your grip was that crappy, how in the world would you be able to hit that ball that far? So you're literally 40 yards in the air over and above the average of the LPGA Tour. Come and tell me that's wrong, right? I'd like to see it. Come and play with us. Come and tell us that's wrong. So the way that your hands are on the club and the way that your fingers wrap around that grip play a huge part in that compression. This is your transfer case of energy from your body through the ball. It's that compression chamber, like a boxer, right? When you're getting ready to snap a punch, you're not getting ready to, make your hands all softy-toffy. You're going to absorb the whole blow in your wrist and your hands, and you'll injure yourself badly. You won't hurt a thing, as far as the opponent's concerned. So we're going to show you how to wrap those digits around the club. And Munashe, because he is a receiver in football. His receiver days are just yesterday, man. The guy just, we have some fabulous secrets that receivers in football have to strengthen their hands And you're really going to enjoy this one because so many of you I see are letting go of the club at the top of the backswing. And it's an easy exercise that you can do 5 minutes a day that is going to strengthen your grip so that you can get that compression through the ball. It's really important, okay? So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you understand and appreciate where we're coming from. We're attacking it dynamically with the anatomy of the human body. And you notice this anatomy, how it translates to baseball, tennis, axing, hammering, you name it, it's the same discipline, right?
Yep.
And you don't have to, I mean, you've never chopped down a tree,
No.
but your technique was fine.
Yeah.
And we have, hockey coaches and we got tennis coaches. We have so many tennis players that call in and leave amazing comments as to, hey man, it's exactly like tennis.
Yeah.
It's exactly like hockey. Why didn't I think of that before, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out. So same machine, same physics of the planet, just a slightly different tool.
Yeah.
Okay? So Sav, thank you so much for helping me show that.
No problem.
And I'm telling you, you got to get into our premium channels, only $5 a month. I mean, it's like a half-hour lesson a year, but you get to pay in $5 installments.
Yeah.
And you're really going to get way more. We love to deliver. We love to over-deliver. We like to, we like to over-deliver on the promises that we make. So all the best, and we'll see you in the next one.